Holiday Lights is the winter event at Lake Compounce. I just recently visited the event for my first and likely last time, as 2025 will be the final year of the event. Should you check it out? And why is it being cancelled? Find out in this review. Back in the 2010s, Lake Compounce was part of the Palace Entertainment chain. In 2011, Kennywood, which is their sister park near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, tested a winter event known as Holiday Lights. It was a major hit with families. So Lake Compounce debuted their own Holiday Lights in 2012. This was the first time the park had ever stayed open past October. It was intentionally marketed towards families, as the ride list consisted primarily of the tamer adult rides and Kiddieland. The focus was on the lights. Flash forward to 2025, Hirschend Entertainment purchased Palace Entertainment. Hirschend is most famous for owning Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri, and Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. In August of that year, they announced that 2025 would be the final season for Holiday Lights at Lake Compounce. Now, to the park's credit, they could have easily canceled it, but they are still holding the event this year, giving people one last chance to experience it. The entry experience is a real wow moment. Per usual, you access the park walking underneath the road, which is illuminated with Christmas colors. Then Lake Compounce typically is one of the prettiest main entrances anyway, but it looks even better at Christmas, as this plaza features Connecticut's largest Christmas tree. It stands 100 feet or 30 meters tall, and is decked out in lights. Seeing this with the park's skyline behind it is so picturesque. Then this is supplemented with a series of lights in the trees and buildings that are periodically synchronized to holiday songs. The only con with this arrival experience is that the park's single best display by far technically isn't even in the park. The lights inside the park itself are solid. Most midways are lined with lights, whether they be on the buildings or shrubbery. One of the largest concentrations is in Kiddieland, which is home to a majority of the event's operating attractions, so that makes sense. I also like how they light some of the attractions up in festive colors, even if they're not operating, most notably Wildcat, which rocks red and green. Overall, the park has a nice atmosphere. I really appreciate how a good chunk of the park's midways are kept open, so you can essentially make a full loop soaking up all the visuals. The only pathways closed are the dead end by the rapids, which is frequently closed outside of the summer anyway, and the back pathway past Phobia towards the log flume. Now let's run through the ride lineup. This is probably the biggest con with the event, as it is extremely limited. There are just a dozen rides available. A lot of winter events offer reduced lineups for staffing, maintenance, and/or weather reasons, so this part is understandable. It is the concentration that is the issue for me. The event skews very much towards kids. 7 of the 12 rides are in Kiddieland, and several of those are completely off limits to adults. The other 5 are tame adult rides. The most extreme ride offered is probably the American Flyers Flying Scooters, which has a tamer cycle than other rides like it. Compare that to parks like Hershey Park, and the former Holiday in the Park events at Six Flags New England or Six Flags Great Adventure. Those parks have or had reduced ride lineups, but those lineups were more balanced with something for everyone, including a handful of major coasters. Could Lake Compounce's major coasters even run in the winter? I suspect Boulder Dash would have issues in the cold, especially since empty trains have valleyed before in cooler days. I'm not sure if Phobia has a minimum operating temperature, but I have seen some parks close comparable premier launch coasters around 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and most nights Holiday Lights is open will be below that. Wildcat may be okay, especially after the recent retrack. However, I know Zoomerang would be capable of running in cooler weather based on parks like Six Flags New England and Hershey Park running their Boomerang clones for their winter events. I also felt some of the recent ride removals hit particularly hard this time of year, since several of them were covered and likely would have been able to operate this time of year. I do love how the few adult rides open have holiday overlays though. Ghost Hunt is operated as Lucifer's Haunted Holiday. This is a very good shooting dark ride anyway, but it is plus this time of year with multiple characters sporting Santa hats. Zoomer's Gas and Go is a tracked car ride past a series of lights. and the drive-in theater at the end plays classic Christmas movies. The carousel fittingly plays Christmas tunes. Then the train is run as the North Pole Express. This is operated as a one-way journey that takes roughly 20 minutes start to finish. You pass through the water park, which has some slide towers and cabanas and lights. Then you pass Christmas trees of many different colors. But the highlight is what occurs at the far end. You have all sorts of character light displays in the turnaround loop. And in the distance, you have the bright skyline of the amusement park. It is magical. Most rides will be walk-ons for the event. There are 4 exceptions though. Kiddie Coaster and Zoomers can develop moderate waits. I saw them around 15 minutes during my lone visit. Ghost Hunt and North Pole Express are the 2 most popular rides by far, and they can develop 30-minute waits most nights. Ghost Hunt has a meager throughput, so the line moves slowly. North Pole Express accommodates a lot of people at once, but if you miss that first train, you have to wait an extra 20 minutes for the train to return, hence why you could wait close to a half hour. If you want a marathon Ghost Hunt, either head there immediately after the park opens, or return at the end of the night. During the last hour, there was no one in line, so I kept on riding until I secured the day's high score. With North Pole Express, the last train departs a half hour before park close. You definitely want to wait until nightfall due to all the lights, but you don't want to cut it too close or else you can miss it entirely. If you want faster boarding, the park offers an extremely affordable Speedy Pass this time of year for just $5. This allows you to skip the line for Ghost Hunt and North Pole Express once each. This can be purchased online or at the Guest Experience Center. I was surprised Lake Compounce did not offer any shows. They are usually staples of holiday events, especially since they are usually indoor experiences giving guests reprieves from the cold. But Lake Compounce has always been light in this department. They do have some kid-friendly activities though, like ornament decorating and character meet and greets. For food, this park has some special sweets, plus a few of their standard restaurants open. Not all their restaurants will be available, which is why they supplement their offerings with some food trucks as well. For holiday lights, Lake Compounce is only open Friday through Sundays. This is for staffing and attendance reasons. Given the limited attraction lineup, you do not need a full day, and the park knows that. That's why the park is only open for 5 or 6 hours for holiday lights. If you're not going to stay for the full time, I would try to prioritize the darker hours. The park really comes alive once the lights can shine brightest. The one thing to watch out for is inclement weather. The park will frequently close this time of year if there's any sort of precipitation. If you live extremely close by, it is worth a gamble because the park will likely be empty, and they do offer free return tickets if this happens. I don't think it's worth the risk if you have a longer drive though. This event also has a very affordable price tag. If you buy your tickets online in advance, it costs just $20. This is less than half what they typically charge in the summer. I think that's fair. A lot of light trails charge $10 to $15 per person, so adding some rides as well makes it an appealing option. It is also worth knowing the usual parking price, which is around $25 to $30 if I remember correctly. It is slashed to $10 for this event. Then if you have a 2025 or 2026 season pass, Holiday Lights is included, and you also get free hot cocoa refills as a bonus. Should you visit Holiday Lights? If you're a local and have kids, absolutely. The combo of nice lights and kid-friendly rides is hard to beat this time of year. Even adults nearby who can appreciate pretty lights will have a pleasant time as well. I would not recommend this event if you're coming from a really long distance, or if you're purely a thrill seeker due to the limited ride lineup. I think the park's other seasons are better options under these circumstances, and I have an in-depth park review more applicable to those seasons if you're interested. Why is Holiday Lights being cancelled? Simply put, I think it was the park's lowest attended season. I don't think the crowds are worth the effort and staffing needed for the event. Why didn't people come? I think there are a few reasons. First, the weather. It is no secret that it gets cold in Connecticut. The average daytime temperature in December is 42 degrees Fahrenheit, but keep in mind, the park is mostly open during the evening this time of year. This means the temperatures are more often in the 20s or 30s. That's bearable for me as long as I wear multiple layers, but I know the cold deters a lot of people. It isn't exactly your prototypical amusement park weather. Second, the ride lineup. By omitting the thrill rides, you take away a large chunk of the park's appeal and audience. Had Lake Compounce been able to open one of their coasters for the event, I would have attended far more often through the years. I suspect cold was the primary reason, but it also could have been for maintenance or staffing reasons. Third, a lack of indoor attractions. With the cold temperatures, it is critical to offer indoor experiences. Lake Compounce only has one fully indoor ride with Ghost Hunt. Other parks with limited indoor rides supplement this with shows, but as I already noted, there are none here. Fourth, a lack of awareness. I live close to Providence, and most people know of Lake Compounce. They were shocked to hear I was going there in the winter, though. When I invited my friends who lived a half-hour away in Connecticut, they too were stunned the park was even open. So I'm not sure how much advertising they did beyond signage at the park and emails to those on the mailing list. Is there a chance the event returns? Yes, but I'm doubtful. We have seen Hershend retire events at some other parks they've acquired and replace them with something else. For example, Kentucky Kingdom previously had a scary Halloween event known as Hallow Scream. Hershend, who have typically focused more on family-friendly autumn events, retired Hallow Scream and replaced it with Pumpkins at Kentucky Kingdom. Hershend does an amazing job with their Christmas events at their flagship parks. In Old Time Christmas at Silver Dollar City and Smoky Mountain Christmas at Dollywood are two of the best rated winter events in the country. They have amazing light displays, a majority of their attractions available, and plenty of shows. However, I think Lake Compounce may be done with winter events for the foreseeable future. If Hershend were merely changing the winter event, I suspect they would have done it across the chain. There was no mention of 2025 being Kennywood's final holiday lights. From what I understand, the event there draws bigger crowds. Further, Lake Compounce is not advertising a winter event of any kind with their season pass sales, while Kennywood is. The low attendance has, or had been an issue for multiple theme parks in the Northeast in winter. Just look at how the two larger parks in Six Flags New England and Six Flags Great Adventure discontinued their holiday in the park for this very reason. Those are my thoughts on Lake Compounce's final holiday lights, both the 2025 event and its future. What do you think about the event? Have you been? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.